Welcome back to the True Crime Lounge podcast. I do have a Patreon that you can join for early access to scheduled to come out. I also have a merch shop for all your true crime gear. For any updates on my channel or podcast, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. With that being said, let's dive into the final part of our mini series of the Black Dahlia murder, shall we? Here's a question: how did three amateurs solve the Zodiac Cipher? Steve Hodell's theory has resulted in several books, as well as a TNT television series, and I Am the Night in its companion podcast, Root of Evil. But not everyone is sold on Steve Hodell's assertions. Here's the question: will the Black Dahlia murder ever be solved? Well, new possible evidence keep emerging in the Black Dahlia case. In 2018, a woman named Sandy Nichols uncovered a letter from her grandpa. A former police informant who wrote in 1949 asserted that Black Dahlia was killed by a man named G.H., adding fuel to the George Hodel fire. Steve Hodel and the other amateur investigators continue to uncover information that once held secrets. The people protected by these secrets die out. After all, there's little impetus to protect their fading reputations much longer. Ultimately, the Black Dahlia murder is far likely to be solved than that of Georgette Bordeaux, or the stacks of unsolved murders within the LAPD's cold case file. And it's because we all know the name the Black Dahlia. The media aim to sensationalize Elizabeth Short's murder, portraying as a symbol of city of the loss and chaos. Quote, werewolf, unquote. Slaying of women tagged with the name from a 1946 noir film, and with that would may fade from a memory. Yet, this is very sensationalized, but it keeps interest in the case alive, prompting the police to relentlessly pursue justice for the Black Dahlia. Unlike many unsolved cases, it's regulated into the old newspapers in the backlog of cold cases. As long as people keep digging and uncovering, amidst all of the personal grievances in outlandish theories, the answers may finally emerge. Um, the ghost of the Black Dahlia hiding presence. Let's talk about that for a second. An employee of the Biltmore in 1990s named James Moore got into the elevator and someone was already in there. A pretty woman dressed in all black, but never looked up. When the elevator stopped at the sixth floor, he expected her to get out. He even told her what floor it was. The woman rushed past him. He felt a cold chill. But when she got out, she stopped, looked back at him as if she was going to ask for help, but never spoke. He pressed a button to reopen the elevator, but when he got out, there was no one there. Later on, he looked for her in a book of the LA mysteries. He recognized the face of the Black Dahlia as the same one he saw in the elevator. Since then, numerous sightings have been reported that the Black Dahlia has surfaced. Guest employees have claimed to see her spectral figure at the hotel's lobby and on the 10th and 11th floor. Her ghostly presence is always seen in a cloud of black and never lifting her gaze. While there have been dozens of theories about the Black Dahlia's murder, most popular being the killer of the LA doctor, George Hodel, also shown by the TV miniseries I Am the Night, remains the most infamous cold cases in American history. Um, it is a grim reminder of a killer who managed to evade justice. Um, on on the location on the Los Angeles Haunting Ghost Bus tours, there was a visit at the Biltmore Hotel, as other Hollywood sightings were Short used to crowds in her real life. Um, definitely go and look it up; it's really good. But I'm gonna go ahead and name some of the locations. The first one is the Biltmore Hotel, which is Pershing Square. Um, and we all talk. And and this one is when around 5 p.m. on the evening of January 9, 1947, she was dropped off at the Biltmore Hotel in Pershing Square in downtown by her boyfriend, Robert Manley, and she had been seen using the lobby's telephones. Remember them? Yeah. Oh my gosh. That tells you how long ago this case was and how much time has changed. But several times in the next few hours before leaving at 10 p.m., it was the last confirmed sighting of Short, apart from a single witness who placed her in the corner of 7th and Olive Street. Um, about 10 minutes later, getting into a car which sped away. She told Manley that she was meeting her sister in the Biltmore, but she knew she wasn't. So why did she lie? Who was she calling? None of her friends reported that call from her that night. And these are questions that really we need to be know, right? The next one is the Herald Examiner in downtown LA. Um, and this is where, if you recall, I talked about it earlier with souvenirs of Elizabeth Short has been mailed. Next was the Florentine Gardens on Hollywood Boulevard. Remember, she was renting an apartment over there. Next was the Breeze Avenue in Venice. Remember, we talked about that earlier. Then there was John Soden's house on Hollywood Hills. Yes. At the time of the famous murder in Famous House, this was designed by Lloyd Wright, as well as who is the known architect son of Frank Lloyd Wright, who was owned by a doctor. Do you know a doctor? George Hodel. That's pretty cool though. I would buy that house. I would. Thinking I would buy a house that someone died in. 'Cause that's real estate gold right there. Then there was Paramount Studios in Hollywood, which need I say more? Need I say more? Next, there was the old Greyhound bus terminal in downtown Los Angeles. Then there was the Hotel Figueroa in downtown. So here's a question. Could this case ever be solved so many years after the events? Maybe. Here's the thing. We may know who killed her, but will never get served. Because the killer is probably long gone by now. That's the sad part right there. Um, but her case is highly publicized, and think that her life could have been saved. It could have. Honestly, next if I ever make it to California, I would love to go visit these places because I'm that person. All right, y'all, that's it. Join me on our next mini series as we talk about Bob Crane. And I hope you guys are tuning in for my season 4, which you can go on my Patreon now and watch some of the episodes that I already have out. I'm working on getting the last 3 out. It is summer, so I really want to try to enjoy this summer as much as possible. But yeah, so y'all have a great day. I will see y'all next time and stay safe. And remember, the judge won't be until Tuesday.